So we just roughly we finished last session. We finished the finished the 7 cause and effect of practicing generating bodhicitta. We already roughly we finished. First we go there, and then now today we go a little bit on the profound method of generating bodhicitta, which was actually the method which was very famous in India those days, and mainly this was very popular in Nalanda, especially in time of Shantideva. Very famous, but it is called the sacred teaching, sacred instructions. So they didn't teach everybody. It's not available for everybody. They teach those disabled or those practitioners who have a higher capacities, higher mental capacity, or sometimes they use this word called shaf faculty. The shaf faculty who are the follower of the dharma. And you will also hear this terminology in Buddhist teaching that shaf faculty who are the follower of dharma and also who are follower of the faith. So this distinguish will become based on not on the shaf means you are smart, or it's not about that. It's about merit. If you have a very powerful merit, you have very high merit, and then you consider be shaf faculty or Chujindramba means follower of dharma, and then and you have a lesser merit, then you may be a follower of the faith. So you basically those people who have a lesser capacity, faculty, who are not able to reasoning much about especially in terms of generating bodhicitta, and especially in terms of realizing to generate the wisdom to understand the emptiness. So they call Chujindramba and Tevejindramba. It's called therefore it is not. Don't misunderstand this because then Buddhists, those time Buddhist practitioners have a lack of compassion, so they don't teach everybody. It's not about that. It's about because people misunderstood, especially when you teach the second method called profound method. That's why it's so profound. It's called exchanging the self and others. So until unless you reach in certain level of Buddhist understanding, if you immediately you practice this, it's very difficult. So it's difficult, and people also will not able to accept this kind of theory. So therefore it is called sacred instructions. So but anyway, today we will discuss about this exchanging the self and others. This will be combined with the Tonglen. Tonglen means giving and taking. Giving and taking. So today I will be just sharing you the basic idea about this instructions of generating bodhicitta in profound traditions. Then you will later, even today, you will be not comfortable with this concept idea, but if you keep thinking and especially thinking with the support of some logic, then this is very powerful for transforming our ordinary perceptions, not only in terms of ordinary appearance. It's not about this, but about our ordinary way of thinking about other sentient beings will be immediately very powerful to generate bodhicitta. Okay, so we will discuss this theory. Yes.
好，上次的课程里面，我们已经大略的介绍完七重因果生菩提心的方式。那今天呢，我们要开始讲授以甚深见的方式来升起菩提心。那这个甚深见升起菩提心的方法呢，当时在印度非常的流行，特别是在那烂陀寺。那这一个 教法呢，主要是以吉天菩萨的教授为主。那这个甚深的生菩提心方式呢，就是自他相换的生菩提心方式。那个时候呢，是一种秘密的方式，作为教导传承的，并不是每个人都可以接受到这样子的教授。因为呢，只有就是比较立根者，或者是说他的根气比较高，或者有一个术语是说随法行者，可以接受到这样子的教授。那在佛法的修学上，我们通常会有两种根器的分法，就是说立根者，也就是随法行者，以及顿根者，也就是随性行者。那这个时候我们所说的立根或顿根，并不是指说这位修行者他是聪明或不聪明，而是说如果他是个立根者的话，他通常是带有比较多的福德资粮，以及他的福德资粮的力量是比较强大的。但是如果他是顿根行者的话，那他的福德资粮比较少，那通常他的福德资粮的力量也没有那么强大。那因为呢，如果他的福德力量比较强大的话，那他也就是我们所说的随法行者的话呢，那他就比较能够透过理路的方式、逻辑的方式，透过理路推理来升起菩提心。那他也比较能够透过理路推理来了解空性。好，那有些人可能就会觉得疑惑说，诶，那时候在印度这么流行这种自他相换的这种深见的修行方式，生菩提心方式，而且那个时候有教授，那可是似乎是秘密的教授，是不是那个时候的菩萨比较有菩提心，他们比较愿意教授这样子的修行方式？其实并不是如此。而是说这种修行方式呢，必须要到修行者他自己的理解程度，或者是他的准备程度，已经到了某个阶段，就是他佛法的修行，他已经到了某个阶段，他才能够接受或者了解的说，这种自他相换的生菩提心方式。那今天的那个教授就是教自他交换修菩提心呢，我们会结合取舍法来教授大家。那今天会提到一些就是有关于自他交换修菩提心的一些根本的概念。那如果大家今天上完课，可能觉得一时之间还是没有办法接受，但没有关系，主要的是呢，就是还是就是继续去思维说我们今天教的自他交换菩提心的呃逻辑，它背后的理路。那如果大家每天都去做思维的话，其实可以改变我们不只是日常生活的思维模式，还有我们的对于很多事情它的究竟的真理，它的思维模式，以及我们对待其他的友情，我们如何看待其他友情的思维模式。
Mhm. And then also, this was later, it's passed down to Selingba, the great Buddhist master from Indonesia. He possessed this technique, then the Atisha traveled there to receive this special teachings technique. And then Atisha brought to Tibet. And then Atisha also didn't teach everybody. He only teach Dromdemba, the Dromdemba. He is we Tibetan consider Dromdemba as a manifestation of Avalokiteshvara, Konseng Pusa. He is not a bhikshu or ordained monk, but he's a lay practitioner, Genye, and a very, very highly realized master. So only Dromdemba teach only Potowa. No, the Adisha teach only Dromdemba, and then later also Dromdemba only teach Potowa, Geshe Potowa. These are the Katamba tradition of in Tibetan we have one lineage called Katamba. The Katamba, they all practice the Lamrim and Lochong, mostly instructions. There's follower instruction that's called Katamba. So, and then Potowa also didn't teach publicly. He only teach one chosen one. That what Potowa is, he teach this to the Geshe Langda Thangpa. it's very interesting. Langritamba is actually, he was is like the ropo, he's not the monk before. And then later he was changed his mind and he generated the really strong renunciations. And then he follow, he tried to, he decided to practice seriously. So in Langritamba, then Langritamba also teach Geshe Sherawa. Geshe Sherawa teach this Sherawa, and later the Chekawa, and then Sherawa is was last one who had processed these sacred teachings individually. So and then Chekawa, later Chekawa, this is another the Kadamba Geshe. He was later Kadamba Geshe, but he heard about this secret teaching, but he don't know what is actually this teaching was really meant. He tried to practice bodhicitta, but it's not generating, or he didn't feel much improvement. So, and then he happened to get a text written by Langritamba. His Langritamba says, all the victory should be given to other, and to take all the the losses for self. He had this idea, but he said this was very strange, and I couldn't understand this. So he tried to find the Langritamba, what is he mean by this teaching, and he wanted to learn about this exchanging the self and others, and then Langritamba was that time he was passed away. So he only able to meet with the Sharawa. So he met the Sharawa, and then Sharawa teach him this Chekawa, the Geshe Chekawa. Then he met Sharawa, Geshe Sharawa met the Sharawa, and so Chekawa was really moved with this instruction. He found it is so powerful. This method was so powerful and so precious. Then he said, until now, why they don't teach this publicly? It should be available for everybody. This is so precious. And then he made this public. He read, check out. Then he recited this 7-point mind training. He wrote this commentary textbook, which was one of the most famous lojong, the mind training practice in Kadamba tradition. So he decided this right, and then it's become public. So this become public, and then so we are all so grateful for Chekawa, Geshe Chekawa, who was able to teach this for publicly. And then this conjoined or combined with the mind training was combined with the lojong practice. We call this lojong practice. This special technique was called. Then they have bunch of these different teachings like 8 verses mind training, the lojong tsunja kolo, the weapon of training the mind, and then they have many. They have hundreds called lojong Jazam is 100 mind trainings from different masters, mainly from the Kadamba traditions. Kadamba masters they have come up with their own experience, and then they started producing commentaries, and some masters they try to share comprehensive mind training for this exchanging itself, this profound method. So and then this is also very powerful. I don't know that some people maybe feel this, some people, but this is actually more powerful than the 7 causes and effect. Reason why? Because 7 causes and effect only highlight, let's say, if you have to remember, you have to recognize all the mothers as sentient being, all sentient being as a mother. You remember, you first is recognizing all the mother as all sentient being as a mother, and then they remember their kindness, and they repay their kindness, and repay the kindness, which automatically lead to generated the strong sense of attractive love, which is heartfelt cherishing others. That will lead you to great compassion. Then great compassion lead to special intention lead to generate bodhicitta. This 7. So that time when you feel the kindness of other based on your recognizing mother. So as long as sentient beings you visualize or you think that all sentient beings are mother, and then because of mother's kindness, then you feel the closeness, right? That is when the 7 cause of effect method we meditate like that. Or if the sentient being is not related, you're not able to generate a sentient being as a mother, and then you're not able to generate it, the mind of remembering the kindness. But this technique, even you are not, even the all sentient being, you don't think about sentient being as a mother, even they are not mother, also you can reflect that thing that they are so grateful. All sentient beings, whether regardless of whether they become your mother or not mother, but even they are not your mother, they are so grateful for you. They are so say very you say you can reflect the loving kindness of the others. Like you say, even you can project. Okay, this will come later. Yeah. So even you like this, I give you example. Even your enemy. So this instruction was so powerful. Even your enemy, you can feel so grateful or so thankful for your enemy. So if normally when we think about enemy, we say enemy, oh my God, we feel a little bit of uncomfortable, and we immediately we have a, like anger or something, or we have uncomfortable feeling, like we have so much hatred or general. When you practice this special technique, you really see this enemy is one of the most precious for us to teach the patience. Patience is one of the 6 perfection to become enlightened. Without complete the 6th perfection, there's no way you become enlightened. To attain the omniscient mind, to perfect the passions, you need the enemy. Do you remember there's a story that Atisha, when he was traveling to India, Tibet, he have one attendance, it's an Indian attendance. He was really very stubborn and very unpleasant guy. He's always, making trouble to Atisha. And so the Tibetan used to say, oh, Atisha, leave this guy and let him go. Do not keep this guy, because this makes you always trouble and make you bothering. So what the reply Atisha gives, Atisha say, oh, don't say this. This man is my main object of practice, to patience. Without him, I can't practice much. So he's the one who reason that I practice, improve a lot of patience and practice. So you see this because Atisha is using this technique called exchanging the self. So anyway, so we will discuss this. So I'm trying to, what I'm trying to say is so powerful that even you don't need to regard it, you don't need to recognize all mothers as sentient beings, as all sentient beings as your mother, but still you can remember the kindness. And then you transform them to repay the kindness. Therefore, they have other reasons. That's why it is so powerful. So anyway, we do this and then we go on.
好，那在吉天菩萨的那兰陀传承之后呢，这个自他相换的教授呢，传到了印尼，就是现今的印尼所在的金州大师那里。那金州大师呢，后来把这个自他相换的教授传给了阿底峡尊者，因为阿底峡尊者就是长途跋涉去拜见金州大师，希望获得这个求取能够升起菩提心的教授。那后来呢，阿底峡尊者将这个教授带到了西藏，但是呢，阿底峡尊者在西藏传这个教授自他相关教授的时候呢，他也是秘密的传授，而且只传给了种敦巴大师。那种敦巴大师呢，被认为是观世音菩萨的化身。 可是他并不是一位出家人，他是一位在家人，但他仍然是就是大家所公认的一位非常有正量的修行者。总敦巴大师呢，也只把这个教授传给了给是波多瓦，就是波多瓦格西。那个波多瓦格西呢，就是西藏的噶当派里面的一位很重要的上师。那波多瓦格西呢，他是结合了道次第的教授以及这样子的修心教授，然后呢，他也只把这个自他相关的教授传给了这些朗日唐巴。那朗日唐巴呢，他原本并不是那么在意修行这件事，可是后来呢，他就升起了极强烈的出离心，然后呢，就非常努力的专修这个门，然后呢，朗日唐巴大师呢，也是只把这个教授传给切卡瓦大师。那切克瓦大师呢，他也是格隆派非常重要的一位祖师。那他那个时候呢，他之前呢一直修菩提心，可是觉得自己的心绪没有任何的改变，没有什么正量的产生。那他曾经读到朗日唐巴尊者曾写过的就是关于就是要把自己的生力完全奉献给他人，然后他人的失败以及苦恼由自己来取受的这个句子。那他看到这一季呢，感到非常的感动，然后他觉得，可是他觉得很奇怪，说，诶，这怎么做得到呢？怎么会有人会这么想呢？他就想要问朗日唐巴大师，就是这一句的意义到底是什么？可是那时候朗日唐巴大师已经圆寂了，所以他后来呢是问切克瓦大师，那切克瓦大师就跟他解释了里面的内容。那他对于所以呢对不起，他就去问了夏日瓦大师。那夏日瓦大师跟切克瓦大师解释了这里面的内容之后呢，呃切克瓦大师感到非常的感动，他就想说啊，这么有力量，然后这么珍贵的教授呢？为什么只能够秘密的传授呢？所以呢，他就觉得说这种教授呢，应该可以公开来。所以在朗日唐巴大师传给夏日瓦大师，然后又透过夏日瓦大师传给切克瓦大师之后呢，切克瓦大师他写了修心七义，而且把这样子的修心教授呃做了公开，而且从此之后呢，在噶当派以至于到现在的格鲁派都有以及西藏的其他教派呢，都有许多修心的法门以及修心的论点。包括像修心起义、修心八纪、修心利气之轮等等的，甚至有修心百法，就是百种法门的这些注释啊，或者是论点等等。那自他相换的这个法门呢，就变得非常的广为流行。那有些认为，甚至有些人会认为说，自他相换的这个法门其实是比呃七重因果生菩提心这个法门还要来的有力量。因为呢，是从因果升起菩提心的这个法门呢，需要这个修行者，他要能够去认识到或者是了解到一切有情都曾经做过他的母亲，也就是要先有知母这一个正量的升起，那后面才会有念恩、报恩、乐意慈、增上益乐到升起大悲心的这些步骤这些正量。也就是说，一切都要先以知母作为根本，然后才能够升起后面的这些步骤。可是呢，如果是以自他相换法门的话，那就不一定要觉得说哦，一定要去想到说哦，这个友情是跟我有过去生的母子或者是母女之间的关系的。这些友情就是我们以外的友情，不管他是不是曾经做过我的母亲，就是不管知母这个正量能不能升起，我们都可以去想，这些友情都是有恩于我们的，他们都是慈爱的，他们都是对我们有帮助、有毅力的。也就是甚至是我们平常看到就不舒服，看到就生气，看到就会升起怨恨的敌人，也是对我们有恩的。所以透过自他相换的友情的修法呢，甚至是敌人，我们都可以觉得 敌人对我们来说非常的珍贵，我们应该要对敌人修忍辱，因为我们在成佛的这条路上，我们一定要圆满六度六波罗蜜的修持，我们才能够成佛。那六波罗蜜中有一个波罗蜜是忍辱波罗蜜。那如果我们没有忍辱的对境，我们没有敌人，那我们要怎么可能生得起忍辱波罗蜜的圆满？好，那有一个公案就是呢，阿底峡尊者当时到西藏的时候，他从印度带了一位侍者来，可是这位侍者呢非常的顽固，然后老是给阿底峡尊者带来很多的麻烦。那时候的西藏寺庙就建议阿底峡尊者说：“哎，你这个侍者啊，要不要就是让他回去啊？因为他一直都就是好像一直就是给你带来很多的困扰这样子。”可是阿底峡尊者就说：“不会啊，就是他是我练习忍辱最好的对象、最好的原因了，让我能够升起忍辱这个修持最好的因。所以呢，有些人就会认为说，自他相换的这个修持，像阿底峡尊者的身上，他的这个例子就是一种自他相换修持的例子。所以有些人就认为，那自他相换的生菩提心法。”似乎是比七重因果的生菩提心法还要来得有力量的，因为呃不一定要知道，就是不需要知道对方，或是不需要证得对方是否是自己前世的母亲，仍然可以念起其他有情的恩德跟慈爱。That's
Okay. So now we will look for my handout. You say and the first we will look at the previous handout. It's a exchanging of self and others. It's a exchanging of self and others, and then in the bracket I put the Tonglen. So basically here mainly we can practice the Tonglen. So philosophical foundation, equality of self and others. So this technique, first, most of our problems, that why we are not able to generate bodhicitta is because we created a self and then there's others and selves. So self we cherish, always cherish, because this self is most important for all the ordinary beings who always self-cherishing. We automatically have a habit of being self-cherishing, because this is like many lifetimes we are live with this kinds of concept of self-cherishing. And then the others is always we see difference and distance especially. And then this others and self, so we have this idea of self. So first and foremost, we need to, because normally when you have feeling, so me means like self, always we have cherished and wanted to be is the most important center of focus, most important for us. Then others means we kind of feel the distance. And then from among them, we have then differentiated, we compartmentalize idea of different others in different compartments, some of relatives, some of the neutrals, some of the enemies, like that. So first and foremost, to grow your bodhicitta, this technique first teach you should equalize self and others, it should be equal. The reason why equal, because right now, whatever we think about other and self is based on our perceptional, like judgmental mind, because me self is, because it's me, I'm important. Now others, when you say others, then you have a different, reason for don't like or keep distance, is because they are different in colors, different background, different cultural, like say, oh, Chinese, and then there's Tibetan, then it's like, oh, black people, and then you have this Muslims in religion background, or then these are the different cultural, they are like the non-Chinese. Like we have this kind of feelings we build based on our perception, or sometimes I don't like this person because he's very rude, he's like, so blah, 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 like this, So this was automatically come. Therefore, we are just labeling different idea of the others reason that we don't like them. That makes us keep distance from them. That's why we first self is pure. We think the self need everything, and others We label them because they are, I don't want to be close to them. I don't want to be kind to them because they are like this, they are like this. So we say all beings equally now forget about all this, okay? Just imagine that. Don't focus on the external and the conditions and this. Just imagine that we all wanted happiness and don't want to suffer. That is the fundamental concept of all the beings, regardless of their cultural background, their color, their races, whatever it is. That's not important. Everyone is seeking happiness. And even from the smallest sentient being, from insects to biggest sentient being like whales, all they're seeking happiness. So therefore, all beings equally desire happiness and freedom from suffering. That's the equal. So in that sense, then we can equalize that all sentient beings are equal in wanting happiness and don't want to suffer, wanted to free from suffering. That is the main concept. So number one is we have to equalize self and others. First, it's like if you want to grow a rice field, especially rice which grow in the water, you need to make it level. If you didn't level, then all the water will go down and you cannot grow any rice, water rice, I don't know what you call this, water rice. Like that, exactly. To grow a bodhicitta, if you have differentiated this self and others as the difference, then there is no way that you can generate bodhicitta. So first one technique is to equalize self and other, because self and others are the source of our happiness and suffering. So this is like when you first hear, oh, we normally, because our problems, we blame for others. And our happiness, we think that, oh, I'm happy because I done this myself, I done this for myself, I done this for myself. Actually, normally, ordinary perception, ordinary thinking, we have this. Because I'm successful, because I done that. I'm happy because I done that. And then because I have this problem because of that person, I have this issue with the relation because of this person. So we blame all our problem with others. And we believe that whatever we have achieved, their success or happiness or satisfaction, this all we go credit giving to ourselves. But here it's totally opposite. Spiritual in Buddhism, especially in this technique, it says, all the problems come from self-cherishing. Me. Why fall apart? Me, because of all these, all the sufferings come from self-cherishing. And all the and happiness in spiritual, if you want really happiness, cherishing others, you do all the good things for others, it brings you happiness. So that is the idea. So here say, first equalize, and then second, to generate bodhicitta, you have two problems. One is a good condition, one is an obstacle which block you to not to generate bodhicitta. That is self-cherishing. So self-cherishing is in this system, it's become your hindrances. It's not a good idea. It's a hindrances, it's an obstacle for you to generate bodhicitta. And cherishing other is a condition. It is a condition to generate bodhicitta. So therefore here it says, you should disadvantage of self-cherishing. You should see what is your main problem, where all your sufferings and your suffering come from, because of self-cherishing, because of me, because you cherish yourself for beginningless of life, and you always go into problem. More self-cherish you do, more you get into trouble, and more you are in the samsara, and more you are in suffering. More you cherish others, more you become spiritually, you become more advanced. Spiritually, you can purify more, and you can accumulate more merit. So therefore, first you need to say equalize self and others. But they have many reasons, we will go later. And then second is to disadvantage of self-cherishing. What is the disadvantage of self-cherishing? That is a normal habit, normal way of thinking. Then root of personal suffering and limited compassions. So also the disadvantage of self-cherishing is the root of all our personal problems. Whatever that we experience the suffering is come from our self-cherishing. And then if you have a self-cherishing, over compassion is very limited. You self-cherishing, you only compassionate towards all related with you and people around you, your family, your intimate relatives, your uncle, auntie, whatever. And then it's also compassion is limited. Compassion is not unlimited. If you have no compassion, you have no bodhicitta. So because, compassion, do you remember compassion is the root cause of bodhicitta. It is the beginning, is also root cause like this. Okay, I can go. We got this later, like that. So first, you need to recognize the disadvantage of self-cherishing, which is the hindrances for generating bodhicitta. Second, advantage of cherishing others. There is a condition to generate bodhicitta. Source of all happiness and spiritual development is cherishing others. So this is very clear. Now, okay.
请大家先看到仁波切的讲义。那首先呢，在这边就会先看到说，就是自他相换的生菩提心法，然后挂号取舍法。那在自他相换的生菩提心法的第一步，我们应该要先做到自他平等，也就是平等的看待自己与他人。好，那我们多生多世以来都习惯珍爱自己胜于珍爱他人。那我们总是就是把自己当作我们世界的中心，我们所有一切的焦点都放在自己身上，认为我们自己最重要。那其他人都是跟我们有距离的，都是跟我们不一样的，所以好像很自然而然，我们不去关注他们是应该的样子。那可是呢，这种把其他人认为是有距离，没有比我重要，然后甚至再把他们又分成亲人，然后中庸、敌人三者，这些其实都是会障碍我们争起自他平等，进而升起自他相换的菩提心的想法。那所以呢，首先我们应该要先舍弃这种对着他人有各式各样的批判的这种想法，就是我们可能会因为其他人跟我们不同，不管是肤色不同、文化背景不同，然后他们的宗教不同我是华人，他们不是华人；我是佛教徒，他们不是佛教徒，他们是回教徒，哪个教徒等等。或者是他们对我们的态度，我们觉得他很粗鲁等等。那我们总是想出各式各样的原因来批判他人，觉得都是其他人的错，就是我们在其他人身上贴了标签，他们不好，因为怎么样怎么样怎么样。好，可是呢，我们应该忘记我们所认为的这些原因，因为这些都是外在的原因。就是我们透过外在的这些表象来认为说其他人跟我们不同，我们有好像很正当的理由可以轻视他们。可是呢，我们跟其他人在本质上都是一样的，我们都想要离苦得乐，也就是不管是什么样宗教背景、文化背景或肤色的人，或者是即使是小智一只很小的昆虫，一切的友情在本质上都是想要寻求快乐，获得真正的快乐，而且离开任何一切的痛苦的。所以在这一点，所谓的自他平等呢，指的是我们都想要快乐，我们都不想要任何的痛苦这一点，大家的基本需求都是一样的。所以呢，我们都想要远离痛苦，我们都想要获得快乐。那这样子的心态呢，唯有能够调整到这样子的自跟他平等的心态，我们的心绪中才有可能升起菩提心。就像今天我们在水稻田种稻子，我们想要有好的收成，那在播种之前，我们要先整地。 要不然呢，这个水稻田可能就会有一些地方是长不出任何的稻子的。所以同样的，我们想要透过自他相换的方式来升起菩提心，我们的第一个步骤呢，就是要去认清障碍我们升起自他平等的想法，障碍我们没有办法透过自他相换升起菩提心的原因。例如说，第一个，我们都是有我爱值，我爱值的过患是什么，然后爱他值的利益是什么。那我们目前的我爱值呢，就是呢，我们所有的成功跟快乐都是我做的，都是因为我的功劳，我做了这个跟那个，所以我成功了，所以我才能够这么的快乐。那我如果遇到任何的失败，我有了任何的麻烦，都是其他人的错，都是他们怎么样了，他们做了什么，所以我就失败了。好，可是这样子的我爱值呢，其实是会带给我们，所以其实会带给我们我们所有的困扰，所有的困难，其实都是透过这样子的我爱值，然后产生的。其实并不是因为其他人导致我们有这样子的苦恼的，也就是因为我们真爱自己，然后我们才会觉得说，哦，都是他人的错，然后好都是我在好，然后呢，可是有了这样子的心态呢，我们才会无始以来，直到至今，我们都还在受着各式各样的苦，然后我们也一而再，再而三，不断的在这个轮回中无数的受生。可是呢，如果我们能够学到说，我们去想到其他人对我们的恩德，那我们在心灵上也可以比较净化自己，而且我们也可以累积更多的福德。那这一切呢，都是透过我们把自己跟他人平等看待，然后去思维我爱值的过患跟缺点，然后去思维爱他值的胜利跟利益而来的。那我爱值的过患跟缺点呢，就是它是我们一切痛苦的原因。我们现在没有办法升起大悲心，呃没有办法升起菩提心，就是因为我们只珍爱自己，而且就算我们可以稍微想到他人，我们能够想到的也都有限。我们的悲心的范围是如此的狭隘，以至于我们只能想到说跟我有关的，我的亲人、我的家人、我的朋友，就是我真爱的人，我才会对他升起一些悲心跟慈心。但是如果是跟我无关系的，我所痛恨的人，那我对他是没有慈心跟悲心的。所以呢，在自他平等的第一步呢，就是要先想到就是我爱值的过患，还有第二步呢，要先想出就是要去思维爱他值的胜利。
So here, so this primary contemplating equality is recognizing that self and others are equal in wanting happiness, understanding that self and others are equal in wanting to avoid sufferings, and seeing the attributary nature of self and others distinctions. So we have to contemplate it and see what is other conditions. So here contemplating disadvantage of self-cherishing first, and examining how ego-clinging creates sufferings, and then recognizing selfishness as an obstacle to happiness, and then understanding self-cherishing as the root of cyclic existence. So we should contemplate it, contemplating the disadvantages of self-cherishing. And then contemplating advantage of cherishing others, seeing how altruistic bringing joy and meaning, recognizing other cherishing as a source of all the good qualities, understanding that all the Buddha developed through cherishing others. So this you should develop this.
好，刚才仁波切特别说到的就是呢，当我们要去思维说，在这个平等性上面，就是刚才特别提到的，在修心的上面的话，第一个就是要思维它的平等性。那平等性的部分的话呢，是要去想到说， 我们所有的众生跟我们一样，都会希望能够得乐，也希望能够离苦，在这个上面是平等的。然后呢，在这个上面更上一层呢，就是去思维说，那我们在这个当我们通通专注在自己，也就是说所谓的我爱执啊，就执着在我自己身上的时候呢，会有什么样的过患？那同时呢，在去思维说是去爱其他人，在爱他人的时候呢，又会有什么样的利益？那在做这个修持的时候呢，这个部分是非常重要的。然后呢，尤其呢是在思维说是在我爱执的时候呢，也去理解说是因为我们都是一样的，所有的众生都是一样的，在这个部分上是都一样的。那也就是说呢，那我的我爱执呢，其实就是什么呢？最后的话，因为这样子的思维，我们会了解到这个就是我们的为什么会有轮回存在的根本。那这个，然后也后面前面仁波切有提到说是那所有的诸佛菩萨呢，也都是因为爱他而成就。那就是刚才仁波切有就是针对这个部分呢做了一些解释我执怎么样造成我们的痛苦，自私是快乐的障碍，那我爱执是轮回的根本，那爱他的部分就是利他会为我们带来的喜悦跟他的意义，然后认识爱他是一切善的根本来源。还有诸佛呢是由爱他而成就的。刚才仁波切就是针对这一段说明的。
Okay, so here say to elucidate this method, Tsongkhapa will explain some of the key standards from engaging in Buddhist sattvas did in 3 main sections. So here the practice of this profound method was divided into 3 sections where we can focus. So we have mentioned contemplating the benefit of exchanging self and others and faults of not exchanging self and others. So basically here, if you have to meditate. Contemplate it means you have to think again and again the benefit of exchanging self and others and false disadvantage of not exchanging self and others. That's one section. The second section is ability to, if you exchange that, if you meditate, the ability to exchange self and other, if you accustom yourself to the thoughts of doing so. So if you started thinking or meditating and reasoning yourself, and then you can do that, you can do that, and you are accustomed to exchanging self and others. So first one is you have to think about the disadvantage of not exchanging self and others, advantage of exchanging self and other. That's the first one. Second, you may think, I cannot do that. You shouldn't think you can do that. You have ability to exchange self and others if you accustomed and of doing this method, then you can do that. That is the second. And the third one is stage of meditation and how to exchange self. Now, okay, first you say, okay, I have to, if you have not exchanged, you have a disadvantage. You lose a lot of spiritual attainment if you do not exchange self and others. If you have able to exchange self and others, you have a lot of benefit. And then can I exchange? Yes, you can exchange if you custom to it. The third one is, now if that is the case, how can I do that? Then he says, stage of meditating, how to exchange self and others. So we will discuss first and second and third. So third will be explain us. So I will read this. Okay, then Pamela, you can read. Exchanging and other implies an attitude shift. So when you exchanging a self, I excerpt from some other teachings, commentary teachings. Basically, when you say exchanging self and others, it's not about you put themselves and put. It's about mental shiftness, because normally we focus about why me, we have this. So this will be reduced, less focus, shift this focus for well-being of others. So it's about shifting your attitude towards the others' well-beings. And from the beginningless past until now, each of us has felt, I'm the most important things in the existence. So beginningless of everything, as already mentioned, everything we did or thought was for us alone. This selfishness creates disharmony among families, disagreement between friends, even wars, conflicts. And Shantideva advises us to switch over selfishness to concern for others, because actions motivated by cherishing others will bring peace, harmony, finally attainment of the enlightenment. It is the cause of attaining all of our temporary and final goals. When we are convinced of many advantages of cherishing others and disadvantage that comes from selfishness, we will have a desire to exchange our attitude. And the second topic deals with the question of whether this attitude shift is possible. Sure, there are methods outlined in the teaching, but if they do not work, why waste the time and effort practicing them? The ordinary mind comes up with a negative response. It is acknowledged the good and bad, but tell us that exchange is impossible. However, we can shift our attitude if we make enough effort to become accustomed to this way of thinking. Just as we can train the body to do difficult athletic movements, we can also train the mind. And Tibetan words translated into English as the meditation goms, including idea of becoming familiar with the idea through repeated concentration on it. Even though right now 100% of the mind is on the selfish side, it can be changed if we practice the proper technique again and again. So that's why we can. This shows why we can do that. Why it is possible, because this gives an example that even our body, like people jump like 10-meter high or 15-meter high. At the beginning, they say this is impossible. When you train your body, you can do that. Similar way, our mind is so powerful. It's more powerful than the physical body. So if you trained, you can do that. You can exchange self and others. And then third topic is now how we do that. Then it comes. The third topic outlines the way to bring about change. Actual practice is called giving and taking. This is called Tonglen. Actually, this is the Tonglen means take giving, and giving means whatever over the well-beings, good thoughts, and over merits, and all the carings give to the others, and taking all the problems, sufferings, whatever the negativities that we will take, we take to ourselves. So that kind of mentality we have to build. So sometimes, I cannot do that because I have so much problem. Why should I bring more problem with us? It doesn't mean that you get all the problem. When you started taking other people's problem, it doesn't mean that you get all the problems to yourself. But what happens? The power of this mentality will transform that you feel like you can take everything and everything, every negative things to you. This is the mentally giving up all our possessions, even our merits, taking all the misfortune, misery of others onto ourselves. This practice can sometimes be done with the breathing. Breathing we can do that. When we breathe out, we imagine giving all the good things to others. When we breathe in, we imagine that taking in all these miseries. These three are very important topics. So to supplement the Lamrim Chemo, we will bring in information from other sources, particularly Paung Rinpoche's Lamrim teaching, and annotated by Trijang Rinpoche in Liberation in Palm of Your Hand. And although the base of Lamrim Chemo, Paung Rinpoche takes advice this subject. So this is three sections that how we can learn this technique method, this method of exchanging and serve. So okay, basically here main thing you have to focus three things. First one is you have to think about disadvantage of self-cherishing and advantage of cherishing other. You have to think this, you have to contemplate this. Second is to, okay, if we have trained this, can I transform these thoughts of cherishing other and cherishing others and cherishing other? Can I do this possible? Yes, you can do that. Because you have to, but first to do that, you have to exchange self and others. You have to accustom, means you have to make it habit. So you have to do, you can do as you have practice. Then the last one is, if you say this, then how you can do that? So now it comes later, we will read this in next teaching. But today you should always remember that all the problem. So giving all this example, we will go detail later. The self-cherishing, just remember that your self-cherishing is the root of all your suffering, and cherishing other is the source of all the happiness of yourself and other sentient beings. And then to develop this idea, first you need to equalize others and self. You should think that. And then we will read, today I'm just giving you the outline, so we will go detail on next time. But also you shouldn't think that I cannot do this. This is very difficult. You shouldn't think that. You can do that. If you can too. If you practice, you can do that. Second and the last one, then how we can do that? It will be teach in it will teach in the it will lay out step by step how you develop. We will discuss later. So the stage of meditating, how to exchange self and others. So this will be teach us. So I will bring more on next time. So yeah, we will stop here. And Lobsang, you just translated this. You don't need to read all of this. Yeah.
哦，好，就是这份文件呢是今天早上仁波切发给大家，就是可能如果大家还没有收到，可能就是贝莫拉他等一下就是稍晚会再发到群组里面哦。那仁波切这一篇文章就是前面是英文，最后一页有那个中文的翻译。那主要的呢就是在谈说宗喀巴大师整合了就是自他相换里面自他相换教授的内容的一些寄诵呢，然后把它分成3个主要的部分，也就是我们要修自他相换的时候，首先第一步呢，我们要去想的是自他相换的胜利跟利益，也就是说，我们如果去做自他相换的话，我们有什么样的利益？如果我们不去做自他相换的话，我们会遇到什么样的过失？然后再来第二点呢，也就是说，好，那我们可能想的这些利益跟过失之后，那我们开始在想说啊，我真的做得到吗？我现在知道了，好，我这么做有利益，可是我真的做得到吗？那实际上呢，所谓的禅修在藏文里面是功，也就是串习的意思，让我们熟悉我们要修的这个主题，就叫禅修，就是串习。那只要呢，我们习惯让它养成一种思维的习惯，那我们就一定可以做得到。所以呢，这是要相信我们自己是可以做得到自他相换的，这是让自己在思维上去就是实际上真的是可以做得到的。好，那我现在知道说，哦，自他相换是修自他相换有利益，不修有过失。那而且我一定做得到，只要我让它变成习惯。那我要怎么修？所以第3点就是说，好，那我有哪些阶段是我应该要做的？那再来就会谈到就是说，那如何修自他相换？那如何修自他相换里面的步骤呢？我们在下次的上课里面会提到详细的步骤，那大家可以先在这个文件里面，就是看这个文件做预习。 那里面会提到的一个步骤就是修取舍法，就是把自己的这些善根、这些善业的功德都给予他人，然后把其他人的苦痛呃吸过来给自己。那有些人可能觉得说啊，我不能啊，这样好可怕，我自己已经够苦了，然后我还要把别人的那个苦吸过来，那不是苦上加苦吗？那其实并不会这样子哦，就是这个练习的方式，主要是让自己的心更越来越强大，越来越有力量，可以去面对更多的负面情况的发生。那这种取舍法呢，通常是可以透过结合着呼吸来做练习的，也就是呢，在我们呼出去的时候，是把我们的善根跟这些白功德，就是善法功德呢，呼出去给其他有情，然后吸进来的时候，是把其他有情的恶业罪障吸进来给我们自己。那这种取舍法呢，其实是在广论以外，还有就是加上了帕布贡卡仁波切的那个道次第教授，就是掌中解脱里面的教授呢，来做详细的指导的。那所以其实这里的重点呢，就是呢，我们要去再三的思维，就是我们为什么现在会这么的苦？那我们这些苦，我们一直在轮回中，无始以来到现在一直在轮回中受生。其实我们这些苦的根源就是我爱执，我爱执是一切痛苦的根源。那我们要获得快乐，真正的快乐，那我们必须要把我爱执的这个想法换成爱他执。那这并不是身体的交换，而是把我们心中真爱的重心从自己换成真爱他人，从真爱自己换成真爱他人。因为爱我执才是一切快乐的根本。所以今天主要是为大家讲解说，以自他相换做升起菩提心的方式。那在自他相换升起菩提心之前的第一步呢，最重要的就是要先让自己的心态是能够自他平等的，就是看待自己跟看待他人是平等的，我们都想要离苦得乐。所以今天等于给了大家的总纲，然后还有最后就是提示这3个部分，请大家再三的去思维自他相换的利益，以及不去做自他相换的过患。那大家也要去相信，就是让自己去习惯说自他相换是可以做得到的，就是这是真的做得到的。然后呢，接下来我们在下一堂课，我们就会谈到说，好，那我知道了自他相换有利益，如果不做自他相换会有过患，那我相信我自己可以做到，那我要怎么做？那这些怎么做的实际的阶段的部分，我们会在下一次上课的时候提到。